All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, March 7th edition of the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin, joined by Mr. Big Marcel there. We'll be recapping UFC 272 today. Looking forward to that, Marcel. What's going on, man? How's your weekend? How's everything with you?
All good, man. How are you? Good to be back. We're talking about some fights.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we're breaking the UFC or breaking down UFC Vegas 50 preview. I mean, that card is amazing, so I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
that as well. So, yeah.
I think the card this weekend is going to be awesome, guys. I'm looking forward to talking about that. We'll do it tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But today we're going to recap UFC 272, or whatever else took place on the weekend. To get these comments. We got Hype here. What's going on, man? This guy's in every podcast we do. Appreciate it. We do got Doug here as well. I know he's in a lot of the podcasts. Numbers were a little bit up. I mean, obviously our numbers for our podcast are not even close to what some of the other podcasts do, but it is slowly growing. So that's a good thing, Marcel. It's slowly growing. People are slowly starting to realize, hey, these guys are a fucking great podcast, and these guys are pretty good at picking fights too. So, I mean, let's just get right into it, Marcel. Let's get into the recap of UFC 272. Picks perspective, 9-4 for me. I mean, that's pretty solid, right? Do you know what you did for your picks?
I don't know. I honestly don't want to know even because there were
you might have
many
been the
fights.
same or like maybe one less than me because I know there was at least one fight that I should have probably went the other way on, but like I think I did pretty good, guys. I went 5 for 5 in the main card, not bad, you know. And there was a few fights or so where I was like, I'm not sure about this one, but you know, after some more research, this is the way I'm leading, and it turned out to be okay, except for a few in the prelims. But I mean, overall, guys, I think it was a pretty good night. You know, I see Doug went 7-6. I think a lot of people probably went about that. You know, if there was a few picks I went the other way on, I would have had the same one. So let's start with it, Marcel. Start with the main event and work our way down. I'm going to give you an honest question because I know you watch it really late. How like awake were you for that fight? Or were you getting a little tired the last couple fights? Give me your honest thoughts.
No, I was pretty awake because, like I said, I was in the Eurosports. How do you say that studio? So
Okay.
I was with everybody there, and I was pretty much. They were doing the show, and I was pretty much 1 or 2 inches next to it. You know what I mean? Behind the set. So I was talking with people and watching the fight. So for me, I was awake, man. I was awake till like. I even mean 2 hours after the show, and I went to bed. I only slept for 3 hours, so yeah.
Well, there you go. I know you guys watch it like 6-7 hours later, right?
Yeah,
so that's why I was asking. All right, let's get into it. UFC 272. Like I said, for me, it was a good night again. I mean, it's been a real good little stretch here, like good couple months for me. What are you gonna say?
I actually understand your question because I think you asked me during the card, and I was like, I haven't seen it in total, but I didn't see it because I was busy behind the screen, so I had to watch some fights back because I wasn't fully focused on it. That's why I didn't tweet it out in the prelims and the preliminary card because I was busy with doing things behind the scenes. So that
Totally fair. All right, let's get into this. Colby Covington defeats Jorge Masvidal via decision in the main event. I mean, that's what I thought would happen. I think you thought that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. Like, the most obvious likely outcome happened in this fight. It was just Covington basically out wrestling Masvidal. I don't think this fight went any differently than I thought. I don't think many people thought it would go any differently, to be honest with you, Marcel. So, really, this fight went exactly how I thought it would. What about you, man?
Yeah, man. You know what's always so weird to me, man, is when people score a fight, they are like, oh yeah, this is the most even round, so we give that to the guy who's behind, or we think who.
Yeah.
I mean, or people wanted to give Masvidal the fourth round because of the knockdown. He didn't do shit beside that knockdown in the fourth.
I don't even think it was a real knockdown, by the way, guys. We have to like remember. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but
no problem.
You know, a lot of the times the commentators or even the fighters are like, oh, I dropped that guy. They might think in that moment they dropped him, but I'm going by the stats. There was no official knockdown that fight. If someone fell, it's probably due to a slip or, you know, some other reason because these stats guys, occasionally they will miss a knockdown, but it's very rare. They're very good at what they do. And if they don't officially credit knockdown, I'm going to go and say it's not knockdown either, Marcel. So for me, it was just an easy 50-45, honestly. That's what I thought it was.
I even had it 54. I had it 50-44. I had a 10-8 round in it.
The last round? Or which round was it?
The
I
third
remember
round.
Which one it was now. Let me double check on MMA decisions because I know one judge did do a 10-8 in the
third round.
Fifth round. Yeah, the fifth.
Okay, third. Okay.
One of the judges gave Masvidal round 2. That's the only round that one of the judges gave it to. So I don't even know how we got round 2.
That was the most competitive round of it all, and they gave it to Masvidal. I still think Covington won the round, but yeah.
Right. Anyways, give me your other thoughts on the fight. Sorry to cut you off.
I mean, it's pretty easy, you know. Covington did what he always do, put on the pressure. he went for takedowns, but he also, I kind of think he outstriked Masvidal as well, man, and many people don't want to give him credit for it, but he did.
Yeah.
And we just gotta accept, I love Masvidal, but he isn't the elite fighter. He isn't that elite fighter that everybody wants him to be. He is a great fighter. He's a very entertaining fighter, but you gotta match him up with the right people. Against Usman, he can't entertain. Against Colby, he can't entertain, because these are high level fighters who bring a different thing to the table. They bring the wrestling to the table, and that's not Masvidal's. He's not great at wrestling. Against these high level wrestlers. So, I mean, if you ask me where goes Masvidal from here, it's easy, man. You match him up with either Nate Diaz or with a Conor McGregor. You give him that money fight, people will tune in. And that don't even have to be a belt on the line. Go away with the stupid BMF title. Nobody gives a shit about. But you can just make that a main event and people will tune in, because Masvidal sells, Conor sells, Nate Diaz sells. It's
Yeah.
pretty
By the
easy.
way, there's no way Masvidal's the BMF anymore, and he's been beaten 3 times since then. So I don't really consider him the BMF at this point. Yeah, Usman's the BMF. Colby's facing wrestling. I mean, he got outclassed, no doubt. We got to talk about this. The eye poke in the first round. Glenn wants to bring that up. Yeah, Masvidal was a little upset at her being just basically said he's not the ref he wants in his fights. I think that was a clear eye poke, right? And they didn't even stop the fight for 1 second. You kind of think that they would in like such a big fight like this, just to give them an extra second. Listen, let's be honest, guys. That didn't change the outcome of the fight. The fight would have not went any differently, but we want things to be right. And I think that you're right, Glenn. I mean, even after the round, her being looked at the replay, and then he gave a stern warning to Covington. What does a stern warning mean in the sport? Either take a point or you don't take a point. And warning, it doesn't mean much. You could kick a guy like 5 times before you get a point taken. Like, you could poke a guy in the eyes 5 times. I don't think it was on purpose, but it clearly affected him. The fight should have been stopped for a second. MMA Locker, what's going on, man? He says Colby only dropped the knees for first responders. It's funny. Masvidal round 2. Yeah, I mean, I thought Covington won every round, honestly. Masvidal's not worth $3 million a fight. Yeah, he got a big contract for the fight. I think that I posted it. Someone made a really good, I don't know who it was, but someone made a good comment saying like they probably gave him the new contract so he doesn't go to boxing. That's probably what it is, Marcel. Because I think from what I read, it was actually less fights on this deal, but more money for those fights, and probably a clause not the box. That's just a guess. So, I think that this guy financially is going to do fine, but from a competitive point of view, I mean, 3 straight fights now where he's gotten pretty much, dominated. And by the way, the stats for this fight and the Usman fight are basically identical, which is crazy. I'm going to read them for you guys. Usman landed 90 the first fight. Usman and Covington both landed 94 significant strikes. In the first Masvidal Usman fight, he landed 66 significant strikes. In this fight against Covington, 67, so basically the same. And Covington had 6 takedowns, and Usman had 5. So almost identical fights, Marcel. Basically the same fight played out, which is exactly what I thought it would, and it happened. That's pretty crazy because the control time is almost the same. Usman had 60 minutes, 38 seconds. Colby had 60 minutes, 14 seconds. That's really crazy how identical these fights are, guys. Look at the stats. It's pretty nuts. Really crazy. But it's exactly what I thought would happen, Marcel. The blueprint's there to beat Masvidal. You can take him down. You can grind him out. And the thing that is bothering you, I laughed, was after the fight, Masvidal is doing the post-fight press conference, Marcel. They're like, what do you have to work on? He's like, well, I got to work on my wrestling. It's clearly like a part of my game that needs work. I'm like, what have you been doing on the last 3 years? You've been fighting Usman and Covington. Why have you not been working on it? I'm sorry, but if Masvidal's wrestling's not good enough now, it won't be in 2 years. He's 37. This was the last chance to develop. Any other thoughts, Marcel? Anything else?
I completely agree with you, man. I also want to go back to that Herb Dean thing. What's that weird thing with fighters that they are with the UFC? I'm going back to fighters in a second. With the UFC, that they think that Herb Dean is still that next level, amazing, great referee that he was 10 years ago. It's the same thing with fighters who act like Joe Rogan is still the amazing commentator he was 10 years ago. And this is nothing to do with cancel culture. I don't care what Rogan says in his podcast and whatever. That's cool with me. You do what you do. But I'm talking about just commentary. I mean, I don't get that. It's just a sound they like, and also the some fans, because if it comes to breaking down, and it's just really not that great, and with DC thank God they weren't together this time again, but along with DC, it's actually horrible in my opinion, so I don't know why people are so sentimental about nostalgia sometimes, which when for example, if I do this job I'm doing now in 10 years, I can do it good now, but I can suck in it in 10 years if I'm not committed to what I do. You know what I mean? So that doesn't mean that if I was 10 years ago, I was good in it. It means that 10 years later, I'm still good at it. You know what I mean? So for some reason, that there is no logical in that, and people don't want to discuss about it because it was amazing then, so it's still amazing now. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, no doubt. Just looking at the comments, he can sure want a good parlay. Good for you, man. Hopefully with the winning picks here on the podcast. All right, let's go to the next fight, Marcel, co-main event. Rafael dos Anjos defeats Renato Moicano. Who did you pick in this? I can't remember who you picked last week.
I picked Moicano.
You picked Moicano, yeah. I had RDA, and you know what? Like, I thought it'd be a more competitive fight than this. It was kind of one-sided, honestly. I knew the short notice obviously was a big knock for Moicano, but I thought he'd be able to stop some of the takedowns like better than he did. Because to me, it was Rafael just putting on a grappling clinic again. Like, just reminded me of when he beat Pettis. Reminded me very similar, just out grappling the guy, just doing what he has to do. Even against Felder was kind of a similar fight too, just kind of out grappled him. I mean, the guy, I think we got to give Rafael dos Anjos a lot of credit, guys. Like, he is such a great fighter. I would say he's definitely a Hall of Famer one day, Marcel, and I think he's one of those underrated fighters of all time. I really believe that. Because if you look at the longevity, this guy's been in the UFC since 2008, and he is still fighting at an elite level, still beating good opponents, still making it look easy. He made this look really, really fucking easy. And again, it was short notice for Moicano, but he just fought 2 weeks ago and looked amazing. So what's the excuse? I think RDA is just such a great fighter, Marcel. I just think he's so underrated. I think people don't give enough appreciation. And you talk about Masvidal deserving like a Conor fight. I think Rafael dos Anjos, if Conor if they can do that fight again, he deserves that payday. I mean, this guy's been around the sport for so long, and I'm just really impressed by him, Marcel. He hasn't fought in 2 years, comes out here, puts on a clinic like this. It was an absolute beating. He looked amazing, and I just got to give a lot of credit. So give me your thoughts on this one, man.
3 things. First one, go back to the last fight. How the hell was that fight of the night? Colby against Masvidal, because that wasn't fight of the night.
How was the fight of the night?
Yeah.
They should give. I know. We'll talk about it in a second. They should have given bonuses for the performances. I know.
So,
I agree.
That's one. Second one, the co-main event. Who puts Renato Moicano on such short notice in a 5-rounder? I mean, this was probably the most unnecessary 5-rounder I ever saw in the UFC. It was just stupid. 3 rounds would have been enough. Third, Mark Goddard, what the hell, dude? I mean, people were like complimenting him what he did. He was saying to Moicano, I will look what you do in 30 seconds, and if you don't respond, I stop the fight. Like, what the hell, dude? If you think the fight should be stopped, you should stopping the fight. And I think he should have stopped the fight in the 3rd round. And people will say Moicano did great in the last minute of the 5th round, which he did. But that doesn't matter. He already had a beating for like 24 minutes. So he took a lot of damage, unnecessary damage, and the referee is there to prevent the fighter from taking too much unnecessary damage. So I didn't like that he didn't stop the fight. That said, amazing performance by dos Anjos, man. He dominated that fight. He was better in every single part of that fight, besides the last minute. But he did amazing, man. I mean, what can you say? Dude is a legend, should be in the Hall of Fame, I think. And also got to give credits to Moicano, man. Short notice, went full 5 rounds against dos Anjos, never gave up, had an almost closed eye. I mean, got to give the guy credits, man.
I'm just blown away by dos Anjos, because I've been watching the sport for a long time, and this guy, it's just never a guy that I thought was that great at the beginning of his career. I was like, he's not bad, and then he just started winning, and he just kept winning, and he's just kept on winning.
Remember,
so it's just really impressive. Sorry, go ahead. What were you saying?
He was almost at a title shot when he fought Ortega, and he was winning that fight into the 3rd round, and then he gave his neck, and Ortega grabbed that guillotine. Remember?
Well, you were talking about Moicano,
Moicano, and he was winning that fight, man. And he went for a sloppy takedown.
He's got that win over Cater. He's a good fighter, man, but just the levels, right? You have an unranked guy, he's good, but you have the number 6 guy, and there's a reason he's number 6 in the world, and he proved it with this fight. Let's get some comments, guys. RDA is definitely a Hall of Famer, I think, no doubt about it. I had RDA to beat Moicano. He made it look easy for sure. 18 months of rest for RDA. Yeah, you know what? Maybe he needed that break, right? Because he's an older guy. He needs a break. 8 local. Yeah, I know you were talking about that. We'll talk about that fight in a few minutes, man. I liked RDA here. There's some other comments. We got Litchell here. What's going on? the doctor didn't have the ball to stop the fight, so that's on the doctor, not the ref. I kind of agree with that too. Like the ref and the doctors are such wimps in the sport sometimes. Like they just have to make a decision. Like they can't just go to the other guy and be like, "What are we gonna do?" You know what I mean? Like make a fucking call. That's your job. The fight should have been stopped, honestly, due to excessive damage. It really should have been stopped.
But he should have been stopped in that third round via TKO, man. I don't know what was Cortes waiting for. And then going to be like, can you see? Is it okay with you? No, dude, you should have made a decision there, man. And then he's going to ask the coach. The team wasn't going to throw in the towel. You know, they were like, he can still win this, But, I mean, I don't understand it sometimes, man, but whatever.
Yeah. And then A-Logan still, we'll talk about Bryce's fight. I don't agree with that being a loss. Joe was talking about, Joe, what's going on, man? He's just saying what's up. And then Doug's talking about the doctor coming twice, say he was good. He did come in and say he was good, but I mean, like, I fail to see how you could look at that guy and say, like, oh, he's good to go. Like
the doctor's only looking at the eye pretty much. He was like, can you follow it? And you saw
one finger, right? He was like,
following it. So that was the only thing he did.
Yeah, so, it is what it is. I mean, listen, like it's MMA. They don't want to stop fights because they want guys to have a chance because in MMA you have so many different ways to win, right? But in a fight like this, Marcel, like you said, with that extra 10 minutes that was unnecessary, it was just stopped it. Yeah,
Adam, as it is a cut, over the eye on the side, and the fight is competitive, and you go into a third round. I understand you don't want to stop it, but when a fight is pretty much 4-0 or 3-0, and there's absolutely no way probably that Moicano is coming back in that fight. What the hell, And for let's keep it at the start. Should have never been 5 rounds from the beginning. So yeah, but I said enough about it.
I agree. Finding out Mark, not so Goddard gave McCann every chance in the world to stop Colby Usman ASAP. I was at that first fight. That it was a long fight. It was a grueling fight, but that stoppage in the first Colby Usman fight was not a good stoppage, in my opinion. I don't know what you thought, Marcel, but I thought it was early.
I thought you could do it, but I wouldn't have done it. Definitely not with the title. You got to take it
with
right,
30 seconds left, too, right?
Yeah, and this was with a title on the line, man. And it was a competitive fight, because I had a 2-2 going into the fifth,
and Usman won the fifth, right?
And other judges had 3-1 and 1-3. But the thing is, Usman would have won anyways at probably a 10-8 in the 5th round.
He would have won a split decision because of the knockdown, like you said, 10-8 too. He would have won for sure. Doctor looked like the only fist fight he had was with the Frog before. Doesn't understand fights and damage. I agree. RDA Poirier, I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with Poirier. Colby wants it, but I don't think he wants Colby. Doctor's asking McCann, you feel okay? It's if you're okay, you could risk death, okay? That's funny. You guys are hilarious. All right, let's go to the next fight. Bryce Mitchell, Edson Barboza. I mean, like I said, guys, like I was kind of like on the fence about this, but went with Mitchell just because he's such a special grappler. And he showed it again, Marcel. Like he made this look easy. He really made it look easy. But here's the thing. Not only did he really out-grapple him, Marcel, he dropped him in the first round. So Bryce Mitchell dropping someone, that's the first knockdown he has in the UFC. Guys, Edson Barboza is on a huge decline. I'm going to say that right now because if you look at how many knockdowns he suffered lately, it's quite a few, Marcel. Last 3 fights, 3 knockdowns. Last 2 fights, 3 knockdowns suffered. Bryce Mitchell knocking him down. I love Barboza, man. All these wars have taken a toll on this guy, I think, Marcel, and I'm a little bit worried about him going forward. But let's talk about this fight first. Mitchell just looked good again with the grappling. I mean, he did what he had to do. The guy's, regardless of what you think about him, and I'll be honest with you, like I actually like him a lot more now after some of the stuff he was saying. I feel like this guy's really misunderstood. I really think he's misunderstood, guys, because his post-fight interview, the one with the media, how could you not like this guy? Like, if you listen to what he said, and I'm not talking about what he was saying on Ariel's show last week, where they're not even going to like put his interview out because he said stuff that they don't agree with, which I don't agree with. That's censoring someone. What this guy was saying stuff like how he wants to inspire kids and how he was going to give half his purse to charity before Dana White said, no, we'll pay the $45,000 to charity. You can keep your money. This is not a bad guy, I don't think, guys. I think he's very misunderstood. And remember, I don't watch Ariel's show, so I just heard what people were saying about him, all these like comments, and I saw some of them and I didn't agree, but I just got a different view from what I've seen on people saying on Twitter in the interviews than what I saw. I see a guy that is a really interesting guy, and I see a guy that's really young and really talented. So I'm not a Bryce Mitchell hater. I think this guy's very good. And, if this guy continues to be a cheap favorite and win like this, my God, I mean, this fight was a blowout. Anyways, give me your thoughts on the fight, Marcel.
I mean, people cry about everything, but the thing is, when I was, I think it's a generation thing. I think always, man. I've just been raised like if you don't agree with somebody, you're either going to discuss it with somebody or you let it go. you know. But no, these people are like, we should cancel this person because we don't like it, and now we're gonna get you. It's just a generation thing, and I mean the younger generation. Sorry, I say you kind of suck, you know. But the thing is, Bryce Mitchell, I don't mind what he said. You know, it's his opinion. You know, I don't have to agree with it, but I think everybody can have an opinion. Great fight. What can you say, man? I think this is probably for many people the eye opener for Bryce Mitchell. You know, he dominated that fight. He knocked him down the first round, and he pretty much dominated the whole fight. I was really impressed with how he did it. The only thing that bothers me is that he still has a loss on his record in the UFC that shouldn't be there. You know, it just looks stupid.
It's so
yeah, I'm looking forward to what's next for Mitchell. He's great. You know,
he's really good. I mean, there's no doubt. I'm glad I picked him in this one. I was really on the fence with this fight, but ultimately, I looked at that third round, the Amber Condi fight, where he took him down 3 times, and I'm like, all right, if this guy could do it with like horrible gas tank, Bryce Mitchell with an amazing gas tank should be able to do it. And he did. So great performance by him. And for what's his next fight, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Marcel. I really want to see him fight Ortega. I'm not gonna lie. I think that fight would be fucking sick, guys, on the ground. What do you think?
Man, I honestly think we still should do the Dan Ige fight if Dan Ige can get through Lavsar Evloev. But if that doesn't happen, yeah, man, I really like your thoughts with Brian Ortega. I think it's a fun fight. And,
I just like seeing 2 guys that are elite grappling and very creative too on the ground, right? Like, anyways, let's get some comments. Thug Nasty was nasty, sure was. Barboza knockdown was like the one against Gaethje. It kind of was, yeah. Bryce Mitchell, good grappling. Evlov by decision. Oh, he's saying if he fought Evlov. Yeah, Evlov's really good too. I mean, that'd be an interesting fight, I think. I still thought Barboza would give him a competitive fight. No, man. I mean, I thought it'd be closer too, but he just got washed. Barboza should go back to 155, pushing his body too far. I think probably Glenn, because I know he beat a couple guys, you know, and he should have had the win over Ige, let's be fair. But since that fight over Burgos, that war last year, where Burgos' brain got like rattled and got knocked out, Barboza's looked really bad in the last 2 fights, guys. Like, he got destroyed by Giga, and now he gets washed by Mitchell. So he got destroyed in the feet and on the ground in both fights, really. It's just so crazy. I love Barboza, but he's definitely on decline. Mitchell versus Tater. You could do that fight. Man, that'd be an interesting fight because Tater has really good takedown defense, right? And he's kind of like in his prime right now. Looked amazing his last fight. Be a good fight. I'd watch that fight. Mitchell surprised me. Him and Evlov would be a good fight. Sure would be. Timing of Sadiq, Yusuf, and Caceres. Yeah, that's this weekend as well. So they could do that fight as well. Let me read this. Hey, what's going on, Marcus? He says, I got back to Atlanta from LA, Vegas, and UFC 272 was awesome. I cashed out good, except for the one ticket I had on Edson the parlay, and Bryce saw Edson strikes. I knew he lost. You should have listened to me, Marcus, and not listened to Marcel. I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you, Marcel. That was a fight. It really was tough. All right, let's go to the next one here. Kevin Holland and Alex Oliveira. All right, well, I mean, interesting fight, right? Like, gotta be honest with you, got Alex in the chat. What's going on, man? I gotta be honest with you, Marcel. I mean, all of us picked Holland, right? Dude, that first round did not look good for him. I'm not gonna lie. Like, Cowboy looked good, and of course, Anita picked Cowboy, right? You remember last week she picked Cachoeira and Wellington Turman, and she's like rubbing it in, saying, I picked all the Brazilian guys, you suck. And I'm like, So this week she was all over Cowboy Oliveira. She's like, yeah, he's a funny guy. He's gonna win, right? I'm like, no, he's not. He sucks. The guy's winning, and she's like, told you should have listened to me. And I'm like, oh man. And then second round, bang, Holland lands a short punch and knocks her out. I'm like, see, I told you Cowboy sucks now. Cowboy used to be good, but honestly, Marcel, 4 straight losses. I think he's going to be released. I think that's it. He is 2-7 in his last 9 fights. I mean, he's just not good enough. You know, I know Holland won, but I still have question marks about the guy, Marcel. Honestly, like, he got taken down again. Like, and I'm not happy about it because I thought he'd be the one taking Holland down, or maybe, you know, getting on top of him. But it was the same thing once again, getting taken down. Now he did get the knockout and won the fight, but I was a little disappointed, man. I got to be honest. I don't know. What do you think? And they got a bonus too. Like, I think there's other guys that like a Turner who had an amazing performance, like, or Spivak made it look easy, could have got a bonus instead of a guy who lost for 5 minutes. I love Kevin Holland. Don't get me wrong. He's a fun guy. He's a great fighter, but there's still holes in this game with the grappling, and I think we saw it again in this fight. And I'm just not sure. I'm just not so sure, Marcel, when a guy loses the first round and then comes back, loses the first 2 rounds and comes back and wins. Is that a better performance than someone who dominated the fight from belt to belt? I'm not sure. Give me your thoughts, man.
UFC almost tends to do that, man. When you lose or you're on the losing side, and then you turn it around, you get a bonus. And Holland be like in the choke. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I tweeted out as well, man. First round, amazing round for Oliveira, man. I think he looked really good in that round. And for Holland, I was like, damn, dude, gotta turn it around, and he did early in the second round. So. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm also not convinced. It wasn't a convincing performance. It was a convincing finish. It wasn't a convincing performance. So, where goes Holland from here? I don't know, man. I think many people want to see him against a ranked guy. I don't want to see him against a ranked guy yet. I think Oliveira on a 4-fight losing streak shouldn't give you a ranked guy, but yeah, I think there are a lot of options, man, in welterweight division. You have also much fun options outside of the top 15. You have now Randy Brown taking on Chaos Williams. Winner of that fight would be great. You got Trinaldo against Roberts. That fight would be great. The winner is Zaleski. I think Zaleski's matched up right now, but that would be a fun fight. So there is a lot of fighters who are not in the top 15 who would have been amazing matchups in the future for Kevin Holland, I think.
I just don't think he deserves a top 15 guy yet, because I'm looking at the rankings, and I'll give you an example. There's a guy like Daniel Rodriguez. He just mentioned him. Yeah. He's not even in the rankings, guys, and he's a fucking great fighter. How is he not in the rankings?
Yeah, give him Daniel Rodriguez.
What about Muslim Salikov? He's not in the rankings. He's a great striker, and he would probably beat Kevin Holland on the feet. I don't know. I mean, that'd be a good fight. Those fights are both good, but I don't think he deserves a ranked guy yet, because if those guys don't have ranked guys and they've been in division longer, winning more fights. Now, I understand Kevin's got a big name and he's got, hype behind him and everything, but just saying, I think there's some guys like D-Rod that deserve it a little bit more, just in my opinion. His post-fight interview was legit. It seems to matured a little bit, taking his career with a new approach. I'm glad to see it. I mean, he's a good fighter, man. Obviously, moving if opening for his opponent, take him down. True. Holland doesn't use his reach for shit. Throws 0 jabs. He used to change a lot. It definitely is a crime. I mean, how's the guy not ranked? That's crazy. But the top 15 stacked as hell. You have a guy like Shavkat's 15th. So I'm looking at the top 15. There's no one in there that shouldn't be in there. Everyone deserves to be in there. Marcel. It's just such a good division.
If you look at that welterweight ranking, man, I mean, champion Usman, wrestler. Colby, wrestler. Bilal Muhammad, wrestling. You can go Sean Brady, wrestling. Michael Chiesa, wrestling. Kamzat, wrestling. Gilbert Burns, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So he will get a lot of tough opponents if he gets to the top 15, man. And all guys are really good on the ground. So.
Dude, I love Kevin. He's a great guy. He's hilarious. Definitely. But the 15th guy is Shavkat Rakhmonov. Who would you guys pick right now? I would pick Shavkat all day. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I don't. Although I do think it's a good move for Kevin, I don't know if the path gets any easier. No. I think it gets harder.
I think so too. You're right.
I actually think it's harder. And that 10 to 15 is a lot harder than I'm looking at middleweight. You have a guy like Chris Weidman in that 10 to 15. He might never fight again, So yeah, I mean, it's the right move to go to this weight class, but will he have more success than middleweight? I don't know, guys. Honestly, I'm not sure. Anyways, let's go to the next fight. Sergey Spivak defeats Greg Hardy. I mean, pretty easy, Marcel. I called it. Plus 300 for that knockout prop. I hope some of you guys listened to me last week, because as soon as this fight got taken to the ground, it would be over. And that's exactly what happened, Marcel. First round TKO for Spivak. Greg Hardy, 3 straight TKO losses now. And, Marcel, he has no wins over anyone on the roster at this point anymore either. I know he's got a big name, but I think that's it for Greg Hardy. I think they're going to cut him. What do you think, man?
Yeah, man. Spivak looks kind of like Voldemort now with the bald head. Yeah, what can you say, man? He did what he had to do. He finished him in the first round, made it look easy pretty much. That hip toss was beautiful, I think.
Yep.
That shoulder throw. And he finished him. Like I said last time, man, Greg Hardy isn't UFC material, in my opinion. And the UFC just... I don't know if they're done with the experiment, Greg Hardy. We'll see. But was his last fight on the contract, like Cole mentioned last time.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What about, if you don't cut him, Greg Hardy versus your favorite heavyweight of all time, Georges Danho?
He knocks out Danho.
There you go. See, so there is a guy in the roster you can still beat.
Yeah.
That's the problem here, right? So you give him another one or what?
No. I don't think he should. I mean, if he is not gonna, he doesn't get paid contender series money. You know what I mean? He's not on a 10+10 or 12+12 contract. So why should you pay him that? You know what? He's not. I don't think he's worth what they pay him. You know what I mean? So they can get other more talented fighters on that one. And to be really honest, man, do really a lot of people tune in because of Greg Hardy? I'm really curious about that, man.
I don't know either, but I'm looking at the roster right now, guys, and as bad as Greg Hardy is, he's not good. Harry Hunsucker is also not good. He could probably knock him out, you know. Alan Badeau is not very good. Greg Hardy might be able to knock him out. And Philippe Lins is not very good. He can also get knocked out. So Greg's probably one of the worst guys in the roster, but he might not be the worst right now. There actually might be a few guys that are worse guys.
I agree with that.
So, he's saying Jared Vandera. He's lost a couple straight fights. So maybe him. Justin Taffa is low rank guy. Someone said Parker Porter, but I think Porter's a higher ranked guy at this point. You know, Josh Parisian is not very good either. There's some guys, Marcel, that he could be at the bottom of the roster. But again, does he deserve to be in the roster? Not really, you know, just in general. So, But I mean, they could also do something like, as crazy as it sounds, if they still believe in him, they could do something like Walt Harris against Greg Hardy, you know, because if they still like him, you know, that's a guaranteed knockout in that fight. So I'm not really sure what they're going to do for him. But I mean, to me, guys, there's a few guys he can beat, like a Harry Hunsucker. But other than that, man, I think he loses to almost everyone because he has no grappling. Marcus says Greg Hardy, Derek Lewis. Is it really the fight to make? Is it really, Marcus? Not to criticize you because I think you're a great guy, Marcus, but a guy in a 3-fight loses kid who's unranked against the top number 5 guy in the world. I don't think that makes sense.
I think Marcus is
a little bit talking.
Maybe
he just wants to see him get destroyed.
Yeah, exactly.
That might be it. Because I know he was talking shit about the wife beating thing or whatever earlier. So maybe that's what you meant, Marcus. But as far as like an actual matchup, it doesn't make sense, I don't think. Hardy prep for Olynyk, not Spivak. He was robbed. That's hilarious. You think we would have knocked out Olynyk though?
That would have been possible, you know. But I think Olynyk would have get him to the ground as soon as possible. But the thing is, in that exchange to get him to the ground, he can get touched, you know, and might be knocked out. So, I don't know, but
Sakai, man, he didn't deserve it either, you know, because Sakai's ranked 12th. Greg Hardy should not be fighting a ranked guy, guys. Like, he should fight. And Spivak wasn't ranked either. So why is he getting a ranked guy off of a destruction loss? I know what you guys are saying, I get it. I'm not trying to criticize the suggestions at all, but we're just trying to figure out what's best for Greg Hardy at this point. And like I said, I think you give him a guy like Danho, you give him a guy like Hunsucker or Vandera, someone who's like at the bottom of the roster. And if you can't beat that guy, he should not be in the big leagues. And right now, I don't think he should be there anyways. You know, Marcel, because I just think he's not very good at all. You know, I really don't. It's true, Spivak did beat Ty. It's true. I bet we're betting on him in that fight, Spivak. But it was 3 years ago, right? Ty's improved that. I wouldn't mind a rematch at some point in that fight. Not anytime soon, but all right, let's go to the prelims here, Marcel. I wasn't right about this fight. This was one I was wrong about. I figured it'd be 50-50, but it was pretty much a beating. Like, Jalen Turner looked amazing against Jamie Mullarkey. Mullarkey is tough again, showed the toughness, but just not tough enough, and gets just taken out here in the second round. So Turner gets the job done here, Marcel, on 3 straight wins now by stoppage. Sorry, 4 straight wins by stoppage. I mean, this guy, he probably deserves a ranked opponent at 155. He looked amazing. What do you think, man?
I think he looked really good, man. Besides getting taken down in the last minute of the first round, but besides that, he was good, you know, and he finished it pretty quick in the second round. So I thought it was a really good performance by Jalen Turner, the man with 200 tarantulas. A good win. I think Mullarkey has looked decent in all of his fights and even good in all of his fights, besides this one. So props to Turner, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I thought he looked great. All 3 judges gave him the first round, which they should have, because I know that, you know, Mullarkey got that takedown. How could you rank against Turner? Yeah, it wasn't my best bet. I mean, I've been doing really well lately. So not my best pick though. I
also went with Mullarkey, so yeah. I mean,
I thought the durability would win out, honestly, because he's such a tough guy, but it's just not tough enough. I mean, when you're eating those precise long strikes, it's not going to last long. So I got to be honest though. At the end of the first round, I thought he had a chance, Marcel. I'm like, damn, he's got a chance to grind him out in the second, third round. And nope. So that was not a great pick by me, but honestly, my picks and bets have been really good lately, so it's okay. You know, I'll let that one go. It wasn't my best one. Hardy's puzzle is easy solved. I agree completely. You can just take it down and beat him up. Lightweight division is great. It's so good. You're talking about you said the black horse, dark horse. Turner could be. I mean, he's definitely good. All right, let's go to the next fight here. Marina Rodriguez defeats Jannan. Split decision. All right, so I thought this fight would be a lot easier for Marina than it was. I got to be honest with you, Marcel. I thought Jan won the first 2 rounds. So I thought she won the fight 29-28. I mean, the second round was super close. I think it could go either way probably, but I actually thought Jan won the second round. I think that Marina got it because the last flurry in the last minute and the judges went her way. But I thought Jan edged it out, guys. So got lucky with this pick because I think that the wrong fighter might have got the decision here. And I'm a huge fan of both from Marina, but I just don't know if she won this fight. Anyways, give me your thoughts on the decision. Who do you think won the fight? What do you think, Ben?
I think it was a super close fight, to be really honest, man. First round, clear Jan round. Third round, Rodriguez round. Second round, kind of 50-50 on it, man. I wasn't really sure, So for me, it was like either way, I'm cool with it, you know. And I think the UFC is happy that Rodriguez won, because they have more options now at the top. And I really have the feeling they let her leap for Carla Esparza to fight Rose Namajunas for some reason.
I get that feeling too. I really do.
But the stupid thing then is you should put this fight on the main card. You know what I mean? If you want to have more eyes on it, or at least give it that higher how do you say that, placement on the card to make it more important. You know what I mean? Yeah, we'll see what they're going to do, man. For Jannan, it sucks, She has 2 losses in a row against 2 top contenders, But, yeah, I feel like the UFC is going to do Marina Rodriguez against Rose Namajunas, which listen, man, I like Marina Rodriguez, but Carla Esparza should obviously be next. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm a huge fan of Marina, but, I think it was a bit of a letdown performance,
Mm-hmm.
It's coming off such a couple good fights and, takes this fight. Let me get these comments, guys. Even though I had Rodriguez in my last parlay, my 3-fight parlay, yeah, I thought so too, Marcus. We're just being honest, right? Like, it was super close, but I thought Jan did enough to win. I really did. So, Jan won that fight. I think so. I thought Jan won. Yeah. Rodriguez's footwork let her down. I just think Jan was really fast, man. A lot faster than I thought. Yeah, I'm looking at the stats right now. 36% of strikes landed for Marina, 42% for Jan. So Jan was slightly more, I guess, precise with her strikes. But, that's okay. Let's be honest, guys. The second round was close. I'm just looking at the stats. I mean, 14-14 in strikes. So, and Jan had a takedown. But, if it's 14-14, the judges can go either way,
Mm-hmm.
at that point. So, the value side was Jan, but she missed on the winning bet. Yeah, it wasn't Marina's best performance. I think she's still really good, though. All right, let's talk about this fight. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on this fight. So, fuck yes, got the bet right with Nikolai Negumereanu. I was super happy about that, Marcel. I was like, fuck yes, let's go, baby. But I scored it a draw. So I was shocked that 2 judges had the first 2 rounds for Nikolai, but super happy, guys. I cashed this one. But I do think it was Nikolai, Kennedy, and then you take the point deduction. So I think it was a draw. I had it 28-28. 2 judges had 29-27, though. So, again, I'll take it, man. I'll take it, Marcel. But how did you score? Because I had a draw. That's what I had.
Yeah, I had a draw, too, as well, with that point deduction. And super weird, Also, it took 6-7 minutes before we had the decision.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, because I watched the fight. And like I said, I was busy backstage stuff. I watched the fight, and I was like, come on with the decision. I had the stuff to do. So after 2 minutes, I just walked away. I said to the guy in front of me, I was like, just let me know what the decision went because I have to do stuff. And then I came back. I say, and what was the decision? Yeah, they still haven't announced it. It's like, what the hell, man? I've just been 4 minutes. I've been away, and they still haven't announced it. So, yeah, super weird. One judge scored a 30-27 for Nzechukwu, and it was 29-27 Nzechukwu. And one judge gave that 30-20. Now I have
2
to
judges
say,
had it too.
Yeah, 2 judges had it. What had they? 28-27 for. I remember correct. I don't know.
Okay, so we had 29-27 times 2 for Negumereanu, 29-27 for Kennedy. So really, it was 29-28 across the board, but with the point deduction, that's why it looks like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, just super weird, man.
It was honestly a really weird fight, and I honestly had no idea what the judges would say about this one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm obviously happy I got that winning pick. I'll take it. But I thought it was a draw. I'm just being honest with you guys. I think it was the right score was 28-28. So I will take this 29-27 and I will walk away with it, Marcel, because
wasn't Kennedy close. Wasn't Kennedy minus 1,500?
I think it was the other way around. Yeah. I thought. I don't know. I saw that on the screen at one point, but I will say this. In a fight like this, right?
Yeah.
The referee or the judges, they're not supposed to take points on the ref, unless the ref does. They're not supposed to take a point. But I think psychologically, Marcel, when they see a guy cheating and constantly doing the eye poke, and the other guy's still doing well in the fight, they might be like, you know what? How can we even give this round to this guy when he's cheating like this? And we'll go to the other guy. And I'm not saying it should be scored like that at all. I'm not saying that at all. But I do feel like we see that sometimes. It's almost like with the judges when first round, one guy wins, second round's close, you give it to the other guy to even up. It's not the way it should be done, but it happens.
That's the thing, yeah. They are like, oh, so he made a mistake. So they maybe tend to give it more to the guy who was on the receiving end of the fall, you know?
Yeah.
But they shouldn't, you know, you should score the round. But I understand that the finger poke of the eye poke the eye poke can influence the outcome of that round. But still, yeah, I understand what you mean. But it's
anyways, you know what? I'm just glad Kennedy didn't win the fight because he didn't deserve to win the fight. It should have been either a draw or a worse nick. I just 29-20 or sorry, 30-27 Kennedy minus. Like, how did you give every round to Kennedy? You just weren't paying attention. I think it was Sal D'Amato, right? Wasn't it? I think it was.
I don't know. I'm
going to take a look right now. I'm going to pull it up right now.
Sal D'Amato.
Sal D'Amato. Fucking idiot. Once again. I mean, you can't give all 3 rounds to Kennedy, guys. Sorry. The first round was clearly Nikolai's. It's the second round that was a swing round. You know, Marcel, I really think that was the second round. So, anyways, is it actually illegal to hold their fingers out? I know the rule was changed a few years ago. Like, I don't know if they can take a point, but they can warn you for sure. Remember, they changed the rule.
This is super annoying, you know, to fight against. But the thing is, they should do something. Did you ever wear a UFC glove?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So if you did this, you have to really put pressure on your fist to keep it like this. Because if you don't do it, you get this. You know, that's how stiff that material is over here. They should do something. This part
old, like, I think it's tried with the circular gloves. You get like down a little bit more. You know?
Yeah, but just this part is super stiff. You know what I mean? So you really have to put pressure on it. They have to, how do you say that? To loosen that a little bit up. So then it's much easier to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't understand that such a big company doesn't invest in that kind of stuff. But yeah, whatever.
By the way, someone was asking. I missed this question about Marina's chances against the top. I mean, I think she still matches up decently well because she's a good striker, but I was disappointed by her performance. I don't know if it was just a letdown fight, one fight. She still won, but I just wasn't that impressed by it. I was impressed by this girl. Marina Moroz shut me up. I mean, 2 years away, Marcel. I thought she was going to get knocked out in this fight, honestly. And Maria Agapova once again gets submitted. I mean, the ground game is just not great for her when she's on the bottom. I shouldn't say once it gets submitted. First submission loss, but second stoppage loss. But yeah, Marina looked amazing, Marcel. I mean, considering everything that she's going through right now, like, this is such an amazing performance. It really is. She looked incredible in this fight. She was completely overlooked by me in this fight. I was super impressed. Give me your thought. She absolutely deserved that 50,000. I think she should get 100,000, honestly.
This was the 2.0 version of Maria Agapova versus Tracy Cortes in the Contender Series, you know?
Yeah.
Again, she couldn't stop a takedown. She couldn't get out of position. Only Cortes didn't finish her, and she went to decision with her. But Moroz, she finished her, and she looked really good. You know, I got to give her credit as well. I also overlooked her. I told you in the last preview that if she could take her down and wrestle her, that she was probably going to win. But I expected Agapova to be much more aggressive and to finish the fight. She didn't do that. A great win for Moroz, man. And again, Moroz shows that when she's on, she can win fights, you know. And let's hope that she doesn't pull out as much as she has in the past, you know, because she can make a good run, I think, if she fights like this against many girls.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought she looked phenomenal. Absolutely deserved the bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Nice pick with Barroz. I don't know if Agapova is overrated, but she's just very, like, up and down. She's super inconsistent. Like, there's fights where she looks like her last fight against Masvidal, she looked amazing, and then she looked terrible in this fight. She is lost, Joe. When she gets on her back, she's lost. Barboza's be hard to beat. Hard can make up for massive skill differences. That's true. I agree with that. Go to the next fight. Umar Nurmagomedov defeats Brian Kelleher by submission. You know, we said that was probably what's going to happen. So this fight didn't go any different than I thought it would. Any thoughts on this one? I mean, Umar's really good, obviously. So any thoughts?
Yeah, good win, man. I mean, I expected this as well. No disrespect to Keller, but I think Umar has a great future.
Also, and we didn't mention it, but his cousin Khabib got inducted to the Hall of Fame. So happy for Khabib.
Man,
it's kind of surprising a guy that's that young is getting inducted. I got to be honest, because there's so many guys that are older veterans that probably should have went in before him, you know. But he deserves it. Anyway, give me your thoughts because I'd like to hear your thoughts.
I loved it, man. You saw my tweet. I think you liked it or retweeted it. I loved it, and people were like, bad timing because of the Russia-Ukraine thing. I was like, guys, so they want to do that Hall of Fame induction in July, and this war what's going on still can be going on in July. So when is a good time to do it, and Khabib has nothing to do with that war right now. You know what I mean? I know he's Russian, but many Russians have nothing to do with what's happening right now. So I was happy to see it. I think it is an amazing induction in the UFC Hall of Fame. In my opinion, the best lightweight in the US fought in the UFC. It's my opinion. So guys, don't attack me if you don't agree. But I think he's the best lightweight that fought in the UFC. He's the lightweight GOAT in my opinion. So I was really happy with that. And I think he deserves it. You saw he dominated this way in the UFC. He pretty much sealed the deal, man, with his title fights against McGregor, Poirier, and Gaethje, man. He finished all three guys, really high level. I think, what can you say else? I think a much deserved one. And I'm looking forward who else they're going to induct in the UFC Hall of Fame. I hope they put on the legend as well. I mean, the legend, like a pioneer guy. I would love that. And I think it should be Frank Shamrock, but that will probably not happen. Maybe Jens Pulver.
Yeah, Frank should be in it, obviously. And Jen should too. I mean, those are guys that should be in it. All right, let's get some comments here. Moroz and Gatto. Sure, that'd be a good fight. I'd like to see that fight. I like Gatto a lot, man. She's really good. Agapova looks like he's going to pass out his belt was red. I didn't see that. I didn't notice it, Klein. Umar was really impressive. He's great. What's up, Noah? What's up, guys? Glad to see you guys on this Monday evening. Hope all is well with you. Yeah, you too, man. Hope all is well with you, buddy. Khabib isn't going anywhere. Bad decision to do it now for me. Loads of others deserve. Yeah, I know. I'm going to say it's a bad decision because he deserves it. He's one of the greatest fighters of all time. But there are guys that, Marcel, let's be honest, there's some pioneers of the sport and legends that should have been.
They do always a pioneer wing, a modern era wing,
yes,
a fight, and a contributor.
You're right. I keep forgetting that they break it up. So they have the modern ring, and that's who they're putting in. So maybe they'll put. I'm not sure who's going to be the pioneer this year, but someone will probably go in. And you're right, Marcel. And then you do like a. I'm still not sure about inducting the fight itself into the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's also something stupid.
I'm still not sure about that. And the other thing is, I feel like, and this is not a dig at Frank because I like Frank. Frank Trigg works for the website, right? He calls himself a Hall of Famer because his fight with Matt Hughes is in the Hall of Fame. I think he technically is right, but I mean, I don't consider him a Hall of Famer. You know what I mean, Marcel? So it's one of those things, right? Anyway, let's go to the next couple of fights here, guys. The prelims. What's your thoughts on this one? Tim Elliott defeats Tajir Ulanbekov. Another close fight. I got to be honest. I thought that Ulanbekov won the second and third round, so I thought he won the fight, but that second round was close, obviously. What do you think?
Ulanbekov is always an unnecessary, stupid fight. That's his problem.
Yep.
He is in fights he should win if he fights normal, but he's always in fights that he barely wins, And now he was on the bad side of a scorecard. I think of a bad scorecard because I think he won 2 rounds. But again, he was in a fight that he made it look difficult. You know what I mean? And Elliott did well what he had to do. And Elliott put on the damage as well. So I didn't felt bad about it actually because I was like, this was coming to Ulanbekov. I told you last week as well, and you as well, that the line was weird because Elliott can put on a good fight. He doesn't have a great record in the UFC, but he can put on a good fight. And Ulanbekov does always just enough to get by. That's his problem. He does enough to get by. And in his last fight against Nascimento, he could have lost that fight as well, but he did just enough to get by. And this time it got to him. He didn't do it. He did enough to get by, but he didn't get the decision to get by. So this is not the first time it's happened in his career. I think it also happened at Fight Nights Global one time. Or I'm mistaken, but I think it did. This is the thing with him, he should really work on that because this is going to cost him many fights, I think, if this happens more and more times.
Yeah, you're talking about the Jalgis Ulagua.
Yeah. And I also thought he won that one. He won that fight, actually. Yeah.
It was close. It's flyweight, man. I mean, you're going to have close fights. You're going to have a lot of close fights. I got to be honest, like I said, it was close. I thought Ulanbekov won. Elliott's been getting these decisions that are tight. Like a few fights ago, he beat this guy, Ryan Benoit. I don't know if he won that fight. That fight, I'm not sure if he should have won that one. So he's able to get these decisions lately, but I'm just not really sure if he's totally deserving of them. And we got to talk about the glove grabs because Marcus wants our thoughts on it. It was dirty, but you know what, man? The ref didn't penalize him, so it's smart too. I hate to say it, but it's smart, right? That's the biggest problem with the sport, man. It's just like the fouls go unpenalized. Like in hockey, if you do that, you get a 2-minute penalty. For instance, basketball, you two free throws. Football, 10 yards. MMA, it seems like you could do a lot of dirty shit before the referee finally takes a pointer or warns you even. So after the fight, he admitted, they were asking about the glove grab. He's like, yeah, I did it on purpose because the ref didn't say anything. So I just kept doing it. So yeah, I mean, he cheated and helped him win the fight, and he's proud of it.
What's the ref? What's the ref again?
Who was the ref for that fight? I can't remember. You gotta check. Go check Topology.
I'll check it for you. No problem.
Was it Mark Smith? I want double check.
I thought so as well, but I don't want to say it if it's not true.
No. Is it though? Is it?
I'm checking right now. That was fight number 3.
Yeah.
That was Chris Tognoni. Of
Oh,
course.
Chris Tognoni.
Of course.
Okay. Oh, there you go.
Of course, the idiot. Yeah, of course.
All right, let's go to the next fight here. Ludovic Klein defeats Devonta Smith, split decision. Marcel, this was one of the closest fights in the card, obviously, the call, especially with the short notice. So I think all of us, we went with Smith, but we were just kind of shrugging our shoulders. I thought Klein went all 3 rounds, to be honest with you. I thought he went pretty easily. I thought he looked great on short notice at a higher weight class. I think he should stay at 155. And I think that's it for Devonta Smith, that he's going to be released after this fight because he's not good enough, guys, for the UFC. Sorry, but he's not. So I think both guys, they put on a decent fight, but, Klein definitely won the fight. So give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think Klein looked really good. And I didn't expect it, honestly, on a higher weight class. Against I think Devonta Smith ain't a bad fighter, man. But, I mean, he is still on a learning curve, I feel, And, yeah, good win for Klein. Much needed win, I think, going with 2 losses last time. I know the Trezano fight was super close, but that Landwehr fight, man, it's still giving me nightmares. So, yeah, good one for Ludovic Klein. Looking forward what's next for him, man. And if he stays at 155 or goes back to 145.
Yeah, Klein looked good. That's what Joe was saying. I agree, Joe. He looked good. Smith is 3-3 now. He does have a win over Rosa, but it was 4 years ago, right? The other 2 guys, Janes and Dunningham Maestro, they're cut. So he's lost 3 or 4. The only win over a guy who's been cut. I don't know, Marcel. He might get one more fight because he's kind of still young, but I don't know. Devonta Smith's not that good, man. Marcel, unless he's knocking you out in the first round, he's going to lose the fight. What are you going to say?
Problem is that he has lost too many fights he shouldn't have lost. And, for example, the Kamaworthy one, man.
I mean, you can't lose that fight. He got destroyed as a plus minus 1,000 favorite. I agree, Marcus. He didn't look good at all. I'm surprised one judge gave him that fight. I mean, he was competitive, but I think Klein clearly won. And then opening up the card, Dustin Jacoby defeats Michael Alexejczuk by the unanimous decision. He won the second and third round. Third round was close, but he pulled away in that stretch last minute or two. Just kind of grind him against the fence, Marcel, wore him down. Just a bigger, stronger guy and won the fight. Yeah, that's pretty much what it looked to me. It looks like, I don't know, can Michael make 185 because he's kind of a pudgy light heavyweight, right?
Dustin Jacoby has fight IQ. You know what I mean? He is smart. He knows how to win rounds because it was close. 1 round, first round Alexejczuk, second round Jacoby, third round close, and he knows how to win that fight in the third round in the last minute, when it's close. And that's fight IQ, that's how do you say, experience, and he showed that. So very good on him. He is still undefeated in the second round in the UFC. Still won all of his fight in the second round. I still think the Grisham fight was kind of, but good for him, And I want to see him against a ranked opponent now, man. I think he did enough. Michael Alexejczuk, he was ranked before, So give him somebody low in the top 15, I don't want to see how he does against one of those guys.
I agree. He deserves it, because he's really beaten all those guys who are outside the top 15. So now it's time he gets someone in the top 15. And I know that it might be too soon for a rematch because it was last year, but, the Ion fight was so close, Marcel. And Ion is 15th right now. So maybe you do the rematch. I don't know. What do you think? Do they do that rematch?
I think they try to rebook Ion against Ryan Spann right now. So
okay, I mean, you know what? I wouldn't mind Jacoby against Ryan Spann. That would be a good fight too. Actually, I wouldn't mind that. Yeah, I'm just looking at the top 15. It's interesting. I mean, there's some guys out there. Nikita Krylov would be a good fight too.
What about Johnny Walker?
Johnny Walker would be a great fight. Johnny's on vacation right now. I don't know if he's going to fight anytime soon. I saw he was on vacation.
Okay.
So How bad was the 272 presser? The pre-fight or the pre-fight one?
I think it was pre-fight one. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just saw some clips of it. I was
even difficult to follow, man. They were talking through each other the whole damn time. So
yeah, I saw some of those clips. I think that's it for 272, Marcel. So I mean, overall, pretty good card. You know, what's your thoughts on the card?
I give it a 6 out of 10. It was decent, not great. I honestly think, I said that maybe it's a bold statement, but I think the Fight Night card, what's coming up, is better than this one.
You know, I don't think you're wrong when you say that. And again, you know, most people are gonna be like, "Oh, you guys are crazy and stuff." But like some of these Fight Night cards, they've been so fucking good. Like actually, the one the week before Marcel was really good too. You know.
Yeah.
And then, anyways, the one that on Saturday is going to be great. Looking forward to talking about that with you, Marcel. Going to be a lot of fun. Just before we get out of here, we got a few minutes left. Did you watch PFL Challenger Series? Or?
No, I haven't. No.
So I didn't get a chance to watch it either, but I do know that you know the fight, the event obviously went on. Yeah. So one girl got the contract, Jindrova. And what do you think about her, Marcel?
I haven't seen the fight, so what can I say?
Right. I figured she would win this fight. You know, she is talented. But she won a split decision and got the contract. So it just kind of showed to me there wasn't a ton of talent on the show, on this show. You know, it was a bunch of 1-0 fighters. And you know, for what I'm seeing, you have to have a subscription to something called like Fubo TV to watch this. I don't have that. And I wouldn't pay for something extra to watch PFL Challengers. Would you? Like, who would?
It's free for me on YouTube, so I can watch it on YouTube.
We watched the first one for free, and I think now we have to pay. I think I could be wrong. I haven't really looked forward, to be fair, but yeah. Anyways, that's it. And then there was also, what else was there, Marcel? Was there LFA, I believe, or no? That's this week. I
don't know.
Yeah, that's this week.
Could be.
No, that's this week. And there was Cage Warriors. That's the other one.
Cage Warriors was the one. Yeah.
Yes. We have quickly talk about that. Wilson Reyes won in the split decision, Marcel, for UFC fighter, and Kyle Driscoll won in the main event. And then there was a few other guys who were like former Bellator and UFC veterans. So
Joseph Morales.
Yeah, Morales was another guy. He won his fight. He's a former UFC flyweight, I want to say.
Yeah,
right, yeah. Lost to Figueiredo, and this guy Shelton gets cut. I mean, it's kind of rough, but anyways.
That is, by the way, now also on Eurosport over here. They bought the rights for Cage Warriors, so it's with the commentary from Stefan Struve, who's in the booth. So that's fine.
Hype says that you can watch on YouTube. I watched the first one, Hype. I wasn't planning on watching it, but I watched it that night. The pacing was so rough. I'm just like, I can't do this on my Friday. I can't do it.
PFL pace.
I can't do it. What do you think about Gunnar Nelson versus Sato? Who's Sato?
Takashi Sato.
Is he still on the roster?
Yeah. He's fighting Gunnar Nelson in London.
Takashi Sato is? Oh, I just see it right now. My God, this is such. I mean, this is an easy fight. Let's be honest. This guy is not good. He's been submitted in 2 of his last 3 fights, guys.
Yeah, his ground game is not great. Yeah,
I saw it. Yeah, so he's replacing Claudio Silva. That would actually been a decent fight. Yeah, Gunnar Nelson wins by submission, like easily. It's just an easy fight. Anyways, let's end it, Marcel. I think that's it for today.
Yeah.
Plug your stuff. Let's get out of here.
It's still Big Marcel 24 on Twitter and Instagram. And Eurosport.nl/mixed martial arts section. Make sure to watch on the where did it get posted? I don't know. I think it's posted on Instagram on the Vectors Boston page. I did a shoey on Saturday night out of Gilbert Eiffel shoes.
Oh, was that with Gilbert's? Oh God.
Yeah.
You might have something bad. You better go to the hospital. Just kidding. No, I saw it. It was hilarious, Marcel. How was it, by the way? Did it is it like chugging, like shotgunning a beer, kind of the same thing, or
is it what?
Like shotgunning when you pull the tab and flip it over? Is it like that?
No, not. It's like you
get like a head rush. I mean, like when you actually drink it. Like did you feel a head rush?
No, just okay. It was nothing bad. The shoe was kind of okay. It didn't had a bad taste or whatever, so I was okay with it.
What a guy. Thanks, Marcus, and thanks, Hype. Let's get out of here, Marcel. So yeah, plug. You guys can follow my stuff at MMAOB on Twitter. Podcast is at MMAOB.com. It's on our website, our YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, guys. Like I said, numbers are going up. It's good. Want more people here. Want more people listening. It's also on iTunes, Spotify, all those places you can find your podcast, Google Podcasts as well. And you can also find me at bookies.com and MyMainNews.com. Back tomorrow with Marcel, 5 p.m. Eastern. We're breaking down UFC Vegas 50, Santos versus Ankalaev. Looking forward to that, Marcel, tomorrow. And until then, have a great day.